All right, so we have some Spider-Man 4 news, in particular the Spider-Man No Way Home franchise. Of course, things have been moving along with Marvel and Sony that Marvel kind of wanted to wait. Sony wanted to really start releasing another movie. I mean, it's been several years, so it's not shocking to me that they would want to release it. But one of the big contentions that we've heard in Sony and Marvel disagreeing over where to take this franchise next was whether they wanted it to be a smaller story that was more kind of Daredevil-esque, or whether they wanted to lean into the multiverse saga, specifically with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire again. And so those have been kind of the rumors moving around the circles. And of course, John Watts, who directed the first 3 Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland, which I didn't really love as a Spider-Man fan. They're fine movies, they're good. I really enjoyed the last one, but they aren't really Spider-Man movies. If you're a hardcore comic book fan, you know what I mean. And so I was happy to see him go and do other things, but the big question has been who's going to direct essentially the next Spider-Man movie. And we have now some rumors that are coming to us from some inside sources that the person directing might actually be Sam Raimi himself, who of course directed Tobey Maguire's 3 Spider-Man films. And this is really interesting, so let's dive into this. This is coming to us from CBR, who's reporting on this. And so the title says, Sam Raimi rumored to direct Spider-Man No Way Home sequel. Sam Raimi, who worked on the original Spider-Man trilogy, is a favorite to helm the No Way Home sequel. Director of the original Spider-Man trilogy, Sam Raimi is rumored to be in talks to helm the upcoming Spider-Man No Way Home sequel. However, there's no official information about when development on the project will start. According to World of Real, Raimi is the top contender to direct the next Sony Spider-Man movie. Other names in the running include John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, who directed Game Night and Dungeons & Dragons, as well as Jon Favreau, who did the original Iron Man, Drew Goddard, who directed the 2011 horror comedy Cabin in the Woods, Justin Lin, who helmed 5 movies in the Fast and Furious franchise, were previously mentioned, but have signed on to other projects. And so this is pretty big, huge news. And again, take it with a grain of salt. This isn't coming to us from Variety. It's not coming to us from The Hollywood Reporter, who are more legit news sources in this field. Pretty much when they report something, it's a fact. But this is coming to us from insiders, and that people are saying that this is currently what is happening, that Sony and Marvel are both pursuing Sam Raimi to come back for Spider-Man 4, which is really interesting, that we might get Sam in the seat again of the director's chair to give us this next chapter of Tom Holland's Spider-Man story. And I think this is a great idea for one really big reason. Sam Raimi understands Spider-Man, and Sam Raimi really understands and is really gifted in showing us the struggles of Peter Parker, of being a normal person. And I think for this next chapter of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, whether they go into a more multiversal thing, maybe you have Tobey Maguire show up in this and start to walk alongside Tom Holland. Maybe in his isolation, he wants to find a way to reach out to them. Who knows? Maybe they just keep it grounded and down low, and maybe he does something with Daredevil, something like that. Sam Raimi in either of those directions can do this really well, because of course we ended the Iron Man Jr. saga that concluded in No Way Home, where Tom Holland's Spider-Man finally actually really became Spider-Man, that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showed up and taught him what it meant to actually understand with great power comes great responsibility, and what that looks like. And of course, they hit the reset button on his franchise, that he has lost all of his connections to the Avengers, he's lost all of his connections to even his friends, and even he moves into that apartment at the end of Spider-Man 3. He moves into an apartment very similar to Tobey Maguire's apartment, and you can feel that he's now a more grounded level superhero, that he doesn't have all the insane gadgets from Iron Man, he doesn't have all this money, he doesn't have all these crazy connections to other Marvel characters, that he really is that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And Sam Raimi understands that. And I think it would be really interesting to see a director who has taken Spider-Man before, done his own spin on it, to come back almost 20 years later to do it again, to do it with an established character, but a character that's hit the reset button. And he can take all the things he learned from the first Spider-Man movie, from Spider-Man 2, from Spider-Man 3, and even the Multiverse of Madness movie with Doctor Strange. He can take all the things he's learned and tell a beautiful story with Tom Holland. I would be through the moon excited if this became official, if they signed pen to paper and were able to land Sam Raimi. And of course, Marvel loves Sam Raimi. He brought in over $900 million with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Said that wasn't one of the greatest Marvel movies. I think that had a lot to do with Marvel, not a lot to do with Sam Raimi. And of course, Sony loves Sam Raimi as well, that he gave them 2 incredible Spider-Man films in the first Spider-Man, and in my opinion, at least a contender for the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time was Spider-Man 2. And I think Spider-Man 3 has actually aged well, that it's not nearly as good as the other 2, but I don't think it's as bad as we initially felt like it was. I've watched it recently, it was like, actually, this is decent. And that had a ton of studio meddling and whatever. But I would be really intrigued to see this. And you, of course, if Raimi signs on, the percentage chances of Tobey Maguire showing up go way higher. And so it would be really interesting to see if this actually becomes true and that we could see Raimi lead the next trilogy for Tom Holland. But I want to know what you guys think. So head in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you get excited about thinking that Sam Raimi might be able to return to this franchise and to guide Tom Holland's Spider-Man into his next journey? Do you think that's a great idea? Do you think it's a bad idea and that they should look for someone new and fresh? Do you think that there's a chance that Tobey Maguire, if Sam Raimi signs on, actually makes an appearance? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that junk. And I will see you guys in the next one.